have this ready. And I want to welcome Alisha Rappaport at S&P Global to join us today. Been following her work for a while, and I'll let her introduce herself. But Alisha, why don't you just um, go and share who you are, what you're up to? I'll make you a co-host too, so you can share anything you like, and
Great.
just welcome back and welcome everyone to this AI Insiders edition. Can't wait to learn from you today.
Great. Thank you, David. Thanks for having me. Hello, everybody. Nice to meet everyone virtually. A little bit about myself. I have an interesting background. I started my first half of my year of my life, years in my life in healthcare, working really in the healthcare system as far as building a child life program in hospitals, working with pediatric patients. A lot of the work that I did was building the program, doing the marketing, doing the fundraising. And so that really got me interested in the marketing aspect of the work that I'm doing now. That's what led me to what I'm doing now. And then in 2013, I started my own marketing firm, working with all kinds of different clients, everything from small to startups. And it was great, work with so many different people, learning branding and really getting to know different types of businesses. And then in 2020, I joined S&P Global. I started out as a contractor, actually working for my own company right before COVID hit. I was there for 6 months in this contractual role, and then was asked to join to stay on permanently in a role. And so I've been there ever since. I would say I'm probably an S&P COVID baby, because definitely had a lot of shifting and changing as far as how we had to do marketing. Everything that was in person was now having to go virtual. So it definitely was an interesting challenge. I'm sure most of you can agree within the marketing world how we functioned at that time. And I worked in some different areas. I started off working in the ESG division, and then working on developing what is currently Sustainable One, which is part of S&P Global, and really looking at how that can functionality will work across the brand. So it was really an exciting time to be a part of that. And then I got really interested in AI. Like a few years ago, actually. It was kind of a funny story. It was a marketing contest, like think outside the box, do whatever you want to do, come up with some new and engaging way to work with customers or potential prospects. So I said it would be really cool if we did this like metaverse and had folks that we could prospect. So that's how the idea came, and it ended up actually coming to life a few years later. We have an incredible internal essential tech team that is doing incredible things in the AI space. And I connected with them, and the rest is history from there. I'm going to show some slides um, just to kind of give you some idea. Am I sharing the right screen?
Yeah, yeah. AI and marketing, if that's the right.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Just want to make sure. Okay. So, just to share that, like, I mean, obviously, of course, I'm speaking to people that are very familiar with the AI and virtual reality world. Um, but one of the things that obviously working in the financial space, it's not, as prevalent as far as not more the virtual reality, right? Is in how we use it within marketing and in prospecting. So if you go to third-party events, you don't see a lot of folks having the virtual reality glasses and the opportunity to engage with products in that way. And so obviously the benefits of working within creating a metaverse and developing this virtual reality is, that there's the personalization component of it. We can create anything in a way that has branding for that organization. It can be certain things that that company is focused on within the metaverse. So it really gives you that opportunity to really personalize. It's obviously interactive engagement, right? People are in that, they're immersed in it. And then it's an experience. So while you're in there, for us, we created a gamification component. And so that gives people that ability to engage and do fun things to kind of get to the next level. Most of us are extremely competitive, as we know. So you want to get through those games to get to the next level. And so it really gives that experience. And then, obviously it's memorable. People are going to walk away and say, oh, I had this really cool experience. And I was able to, learn more about these products in this particular way. And then it's also obviously, the competitive advantage, right? So having that ability to be doing something that's maybe different than competitors, really differentiating your brand. And you can amplify it, you can add on, you can build it. And I'll talk about my process. And then obviously the retention rate is huge. People, when you can actually get someone in a set of virtual reality glasses and you have them immersed in it in 5 minutes, 10, to 7 minutes, they're not looking at their phones, they're not engaging. So they really are processing the information that you're sharing with them. So for me now, the biggest thing that we've been doing with the metaverse is we piloted it last year at a third-party event, just to get some feedback, see if people would engage and what they thought. We had really good receptive, feedback from potential clients. Some were clients, some were prospects, and it was really engaging. And so we've been really using it in that perspective. This year, we'll obviously be ramping that up a bit more. And we added a gamification to it, in which I'll show you. We added a new updated version of that for this year. And it really gives us that ability to showcase our products. And we had folks that came out of it saying, oh, I didn't know you did that. Or I didn't realize that product did that. So it really did impact folks. And then so the way I'm looking at it as I continue to build this out is to use this tool for webinars and trainings. And we are going to be launching an AI bot, which I can talk more about also. So just some screenshot visuals to give you a look as far as what we've done. So this is the metaverse that we have created. Basically, in this, you go in, you get an initial greeting. We started out with this gaze component where you gaze at a coin and then it would go into unlock different videos. We added actually in that we're going to use from this year is a puzzle. So it's more of like the hand using versus
And
just gaze.
and can I
Yep.
just ask one basic
Yeah, of
question?
course.
Like, like where virtually and physically is someone encountering this experience?
Yeah, so we've been using it at trade shows, like third-party events,
Mhm.
where we have a booth, and that's been like the first engagement as far as how we're using it. So it's a great draw, right? People are seeing
Mhm.
it and looking at it and say, "Oh, what's that?" It's not just for people coming
Mhm.
up and looking at brochures or swag.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a draw. And one of the things that we noticed, the first version of it with the gaze, people would sit and just kind of look. But the next version with the puzzle pieces, actually people have to use their hands, which I think is also going to be more intriguing to folks, where they see people kind of like doing this at a third party event. So that's why we're kind of stepping up our game, so to say.
Nice. And then is this like in Horizon or something else, or is it like a custom like destination that it could be built from the ground up or
Yeah, so it was a custom built from the ground up, work with a company called Hyperspace.
okay. Yeah.
Um, and so those folks have been working with S&P Global, our essential tech team, very much for several years. And so that's how I ended up kind of getting connected with them and they were able to help me build this from the ground up.
Oh, nice. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, keep going. I just want a little more
No, no,
color.
totally.
So,
Feel free to interrupt and ask any questions. Um, and so the puzzle piece is going to be the next piece, and we can customize these. Any kind of brand imagery that we want to use can be the puzzle. So that gives us a lot of customization. And then as you build the puzzles, then you can unlock the next videos. The the person at the bottom here is actually our new feature that we're going to be releasing. We're in the process of still perfecting and working on it. It's a work in progress, and we haven't launched it out yet. But it's an AI bot. So basically, we have the ability to train her and have her or him, whatever we decide, or them, and have that person answer questions. So you can go in and say, oh, I'm interested in learning about this particular product. And she will start to ask you questions about it, and give you answers. And until you get to a point that she can no longer have an answer, then we will have the ability to either insert a demo form or a booking link to have the ability to have somebody set up a meeting to learn more. So it's a great way for us to be super targeted in what we're learning. You know, as marketers, we're always interested in, if we're reaching out to folks, what is it that they're actually really interested in? If we can target that more and really have an idea of what it is that they are looking to learn about, then we can connect them with the right person and be more, succinct in their interest.
and will this AI persona live entirely in the metaverse, or is there a non-metaverse version of this coming too?
Right now, we want her to stay in the metaverse.
Mhm.
Yep.
No, I mean it's great because it's like I mean I will say it just sounds like a little counterintuitive, right? Yeah, I think like people got just tired of metaverse as a buzzword and just stop figuring out what you could actually do with it.
Mhm.
And so now that it's so not just like yeah, making the metaverse as like experience as relevant as possible for you and as like productive as possible for you, but then uh, building in like the best of other technologies like a kind of AI agent who's
Yep.
servicing you, but applying it to to this much more closed landscape that not everyone can access, right? Because like so many
Right.
marketers are all like you're like if you can show that 1 million people accessed your agent, and you had 10 million lines of conversation with it, like if you just want to report that to the CMO and CEO, like for this, it's much more like it's all about depth rather than breadth, which I love. It's just a very different approach than you often hear about.
Yeah, thank you. And I agree. I think it's more about putting something out there that is going to give you more of that depth. Because I mean, as marketers, we're always looking for that. Right? How we're engaging, what are we engaging, how are we gathering information to be more targeted in the way that we're approaching folks. There's so much out there, right? Information, and people get their information in different ways. So looking for that ability to kind of gather it in maybe a little more interactive way. And it doesn't obviously replace our salespeople.
Yeah.
Right. So it's more of us just having that ability to like give them more information so that they can follow up.
And then Kate just wanted a little bit of clarification as well. Like, do you need to own a headset? Is it just for in-person events where you've got the hardware? Is it anywhere else? Anyone can engage with it? And then can you also see other individuals in this experience and engage with them?
Good question. So the virtual reality component of it, there is a desktop version that we can use. So you don't always have to engage with it within like the VR headset. Obviously, if we're using it at a third party event, that's way cooler, and
Mhm.
more of a draw. But we can definitely have folks jump into this and be on a desktop so they can have this link and join from anywhere. Um, the other part of it is that we don't have to just use it at third-party events. So to answer that question, the AI agent is actually going to be more used in campaigns and things versus being any part of kind of a third-party event. So it has a lot of flexibility. And then, yes, you can have other people in there. So if you use the desktop version, we actually can have more than one person in there. One of the ways that we had, kind of talked about using it and piloted it was where, like, if we're at a trade show and we need someone on our product team to answer some questions, they can actually jump in and be within the metaverse as well. And that's also goes into like the next kind of phase is that too is like being able to do webinars, being able to do training sessions. Everybody can kind of go in, build their own avatars and sit in. And it gives that ability of having people from anywhere. So if we're at a trade show and we need the product person and they don't have to be at the show, right? So that's the beauty of like the desktop version. So yeah, hopefully that answered all your questions.
Hey, Kate, if there's any more, feel free to.
So I can talk to other people. Um,
Yes.
cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. That's more on the desktop version. The other thing that was really cool that we also had put into the first kind of version of this for the desktop is that sales folks can do live demos in there. You can have the ability to do screen sharing. So it's really a cool opportunity for like salespeople to engage in obviously just a different capacity.
And so like, how often are you deploying this?
So the AI agent, we're still continuing to build that out.
Mm.
And the actual metaverse is being used at our trade shows. We really more of like the bigger shows or folks, we can use it. So we still are in that phase of kind of rolling it out on a more consistent basis. But we did a lot of like piloting and feedback last year from folks. So we've learned from that and how we're going to continue to evolve it.
And so is there like an ROI play in terms of like, like how, like, leads generated at a trade show as compared to when you haven't been using this, or like how do you, I mean, it's got to be some investments, clearly like a lot of time, right? This isn't,
Yep.
you don't just set this and forget this, clearly. Yeah.
Yeah. So the way that we're going to do that, and for as we move forward this year, obviously last year was more of just getting that feedback.
Yeah.
Is we developed like a QR code form that we can gather folks' information and then do follow up, and it's linked to a campaign. So
Mm.
that way we can measure how people like who's engaging with it, and then at what event, and then we can measure what the ROI will be on that, whether it turns into a qualified lead or whether it turns into converts into a potential sale. So yeah, so that's how we're going to do it this year.
And so like, then do the, like, are the salespeople themselves, or are they the ones trained on, like, walking booth visitors to this? Like, do you need any like special staff to make sure this is working right?
Yeah, so the salespeople, we definitely are in the process of getting them trained. They definitely, like when I piloted it back in October, they were like, "Oh, come check this out," our product people. So they were really helping kind of get people involved. Obviously, if we have a marketer or an events person on location, that they'll be a huge part of that as well.
So how many people do you get engaged with this? I mean, how do you scale this?
So as far as getting engaged with it, we, when we did it at the trade shows, we piloted it at 2 different trade shows, one in Europe and one here in the States, in the fall. It was more of just asking people, oh, do you want to learn more about our products here? We have this really cool opportunity. Check out our new virtual reality. A lot of people were very interested because there's a lot of people that have never used virtual reality, so they're interested in doing it. As far as scaling it, there's different aspects. One is adding more of the the headsets, and so that more and more folks can use them at different events. And then the other part of it is that we can obviously use the desktop version and have more, as people are going, if they can't have the headsets at that particular event for whatever reason, then they can use the desktop version.
Mm.
And then we also have the ability to change them per event. So like, for example, one of the events that we were at in October, I had like branding in there from the event. So it was cool because they would go in and they could see that this is, part of like this particular event. We did do a cool like swag giveaway. So there was like little pop-ups of like the swag, within the metaverse. So there's different ways as far as you can scale it and personalize it to whatever you're gonna be at while you're there.
What's the cost of one of these virtual devices? I mean, is it cost effective for smaller people to do something like this?
Yeah, I mean, you mean as far as building out the metaverse or the
Well,
virtual reality?
metaverse and then the hardware as well.
Yeah, the hardware actually isn't bad. There's like an Oculus 2 and 3. They range anything from like $300 and up. If you stay in the Oculus set, which they're great. Actually, the new 3 version that came out is like very high quality, and it's about $400. Get any of that on Amazon. And as far as the build out, it really varies depending on how much you're actually going to put into the metaverse. So there's a lot of different components as far as building it out. And they can, and the other thing that I think is great about it is that you can also like have phases as you're building it out. So I started with like one phase, and then now, the puzzle piece. So each piece, every part of it has been like a phase, and then you can build it out. So it can start from $5,000 to hundreds of $1,000s. It really depends on what you're looking for building.
May I ask, what are you expecting from this? Are you looking to reduce the cost of selling something to someone by giving them more information up front? Or, what are you expecting from this?
Yeah, so I think it's more of engaging in different ways with potential clients and being able to provide various sorts of information, right? It could be one of our products, more than one of our products. We can customize them based on industry interest, things like that. And I think it's more of having like a bigger reach. And I think having people be able to retain more of the information that we are putting out there.
Okay.
What's the typical sale for you in dollar amount?
That question I would have to refer to other folks within my team. That's beyond my expertise.
What challenges have you run into implementing this?
I mean, obviously budget initially was a challenge. I think also selling the concept initially was a challenge. To get folks on board that are, different stakeholders within the company. So that was kind of a challenge. At times trying to, build out how I want things to work within the metaverse or how I want them to look. But the team that I've been working with has been super helpful and really great about it. So I think, and then, you know, because you can get like, oh, I want to have all these things, and then, but you want to really be strategic in the way that you're building it out. So I think those would be some of the challenges that I encountered.
Now, do you have a team that's working with you on the marketing side, or?
Yes. So I have other marketers on the team that were working on it and marketing it out. Obviously, we haven't started with this next phase yet. So we will definitely have other marketers within the team building these into their campaigns and marketing them out.
Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds so exciting. It's great to be on the leading edge of something. It reminds me when I did work at the very beginning of digital.
Yeah.
And, you know, I remember I was talking to somebody at Discovery, and they were like, I am very kind to the people who are currently bringing in the money.
Yeah.
But it really changes the power structure of the organization.
Yeah. And I think, you know, all these things that we do as marketers and are additional tools to help our businesses grow. So it's just looking for what are those tools based on the ever evolving technology. I mean, I would love to ask, well, you know, you put it to the group about how you guys are engaging with whether it's virtual reality or AI within your, you know, your firms and businesses.
Well, I am just curious about one aspect of your job,
Yeah.
and that's like how all-consuming is this, or does this fit in? Is this like one puzzle piece with a bigger picture?
It fits in with the puzzle piece.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just another element of all the other things that we do in marketing. You know,
Right.
we're much more strategic marketing. So we're, you know, doing many aspects, right? As we know, like multiple touch points, you know, things like that. So this is just kind of one piece. Luckily, you know, the
Mhm.
hyperspace team is fantastic.
Yeah.
So they do a lot of the heavy lifting. But I also, you know, work with folks on my team, stakeholders, product folks, to help us, you know, make sure we have the right materials in here.
Mm.
And work with brand to make sure that, you know, we're following brand guidelines, things like that.
And then are you using AI in other aspects of just your own job?
Yes. So our essential tech team has built out a tool called Spark Assist.
Mhm.
And so we use that, you know, internally as far as, you know, similar to like an AI generated, you know, it's, you know, a workflow analysis, you know, like it's where you have the ability to, you know, empower us, data analysis, generate insights. They're doing a really great job as far as delivering innovative products. Spark Assist is one of them. So we are using it. We actually developed in last year an enterprise-wide AI cohort of marketers from different parts of the business to come together to look at how we're using AI within marketing in general and how we can use tools that we have internally for that, and developing an AI playbook that, you know, to help with doing a lot of automation. You know, a lot of the things that we do as marketers is very manual. Some of it's not. And so looking at ways that we can do things on a much more automated capacity.
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah.
And we're integrating it into products, you know,
Yeah.
having more ability, you know, chatbots and things within products to help with workflow. So
I just had to quickly look up and see what you sell. So I understand you sell analytics. So is there a lot of gamification in your metaverse to engage people in learning about your products, or how does that work?
yeah, so I mean, S&P Global is, I mean, you know, it's is the data, right? We're a, you know, financial institution who provides, you know, all kinds of data and research. I particularly, so we're not selling the metaverse, we're utilizing it to sell the products that we have. And so that's more of kind of the process.
So I guess my question is, people can ask about what they're curious about, the data, and then you provide some answers and some snippets of what they can get.
Yeah, I mean, I only work on one particular business line within S&P. So, you know, there's a variety of different marketers that cover different products. So it depends on, you know, your industry and what you're looking for, and everything's on our website. So there's lots of good information there.
And just to answer your question, I run an executive search firm, and I am very pro technology and pro AI. And we got a new database that employs AI in sourcing candidates, in writing emails, which is pretty typical these days. And then I have another resource that also uses AI to source candidates and get contact information.
Wow.
So we can generally find somewhere between 90 and 98% of the people we're going after. And then I've brought on a technology firm that keeps me up to date on technology in the search industry and how to integrate it, and particularly with regard to AI. And there are a lot of new interview tools and screening tools and things like that that we are constantly looking into. So, you know, right now it's costing me between $600 and $1,000 a chair for technology. I think that'll go up to between 3,000 and 5,000 in the not too distant future.
Yeah. Wow. Sounds great.
Yeah. So it's exciting. It's very exciting.
Yeah.
But how we build the machine keeps changing.
Yes, it is. Everything is ever evolving, which is interesting. Trying to keep up with all this technology, as you know, for sure.
While maintaining the human touch.
Well, that's the other part of it, right? That's a key piece, is that like the biggest thing is like the human in the loop with all of this, right? You definitely need to have someone checking what's being done and going out.
Yes. And constantly checking on how your consumers are feeling about it.
Yep. Yes.
I mean, you know, I might have a junior person fill out a questionnaire. I probably wouldn't do that at the VP level or above.
Yeah. Yep.
You just get annoyed.
Yeah, they want someone to find the information for them.
Yeah. This is fascinating.
Thank you. Thanks.
Very
Yeah, really excited to share. I mean, even to share it with folks. Been really an exciting journey to learn about the process of it. And even as far as like how other people use I mean, there's many other businesses that use metaverses, and it's just interesting to kind of also hear how other people use it, or, you know, I don't know if anyone here has thought about developing anything like that, and what their thoughts were.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah.
I worked with a company that had a virtual walkthrough, like real estate, and they used, I mean, you could do it on a computer, but you could also do it using, you know, the glasses.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
And it's interesting with something like that, you could have each person who's seen it virtually and who's seen it in real life say what they thought about the place and compare the two, see how close they are.
Yeah.
I've been doing video interviews since 95.
Yep.
And I used to tell clients I can get about 95% on video of what I can get in person.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, especially now, the graphics is, is so incredible what can be done, how real things can look. I mean, even video games, right? Those are getting quite
I mean,
realistic, very realistic.
Well,
ultimately, I think once you have some KPIs and can learn, how much that converts into sales or how
Yep.
much more revenue you can generate, and that would become
Yep.
the sizzle that you can go out and sell.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that's an important piece if you're, investing in the technology, is how it's going to play out from a ROI perspective. And that's obviously the next phase for us, to find that part out and see how much impact it does. I mean, we have to try things to see if they work. I mean, if we can think back about when social media started, we tried it, and look what it's happened there. And so I think it's just more about just taking the risk, to see what these technologies will do and work, and how they'll work, if they'll work for what we want to do. So
Well, it's great, that you have the resources to be able to do that and show the rest of us what's possible.
thank you. Yeah. A lot of begging.
At least you have someone to beg from.
Yeah.
yeah,
It wasn't always the case. I was a sole proprietor for a long time and definitely knew what it was like when we didn't have those resources.
Mhm.
So I can relate.
Mhm.
but look at how it's changed. I mean, from the beginning of digital,
Yep.
I think I did the first search for Digital Ink, which was owned by the Washington Post. It was the first online newspaper.
Yep.
And now digital is running the show.
Yep. Yeah.
And I think, that was 30 years ago. I think it'll be a lot sooner. I'd say by 30 to 35,
Mhm.
AI is going to be front and center.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that people are using it more and more, to get answers to things, to help write things, to do the research. So I think that there's more and more that it's going to be able to do,
Yeah.
but we need to keep the humans in the loop.
Yes, very much so.
Yep. Yeah. But I think it can also help our jobs, I think that's the automation component of it, is being able to use this technology to create content for, campaigns or social or any of that. So I think that that's the other part that's cool, is that it can actually potentially free time up for us to do other things, because we can automate things, through the AI technology.
Yeah.
At
And
least that's what I'm hoping.
I remember when video games just started putting branded products in there.
Yeah.
And do you think there will be sort of public virtual reality places where a company like yours can go in and sell business to business in a situation like that?
Well, I don't know, but it would be amazing.
Yeah.
It would be amazing. I mean, they have all these gaming rooms or, facilities. It would be an interesting concept to do it from like a business perspective.
Yeah. Maybe we be able to get young people to show up in the office.
Yeah.
They can play video games.
They can play video games. Yep. Sure. There's so many opportunities with all of this technology.
Yeah.
Mhm. Well, this is terrific. I mean, I think it's just, fascinating to see these different applications of AI and the metaverse and just the kind of innovation. Yeah, I mean, this is what we need to see way more of, and also just appreciate your candor and showing like what you're learning by doing, right? Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of the process is sharing what the process is and how we, it's a learning experience. So I think that's key. I said, if you're sharing, I mean, that's how I ended up. I mean, my essential tech team was how I learned more. So I think, having those resources of who you can tap into to help you with the process makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me, and the questions were great. So I appreciate the engagement.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming by, Alicia, and yeah, thanks everyone for joining us today. And yeah, appreciate you coming by again sometime to give us some updates, and look forward to continuing to learn from you. And then Alicia's profile, I meant to hit, bless you, I meant to hit that earlier, but in the chat, so you can follow her. And yeah, thanks everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
you.
Definitely would like to come back when I have some good data.
Can't wait.
Yeah. All
All right,
right. Thank you so
thanks
much.
everyone.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.